Okay, so this one is a Volkswagen, at least they say. A Routan, I don't know how to pronounce it, but if you give it the overall look here, it's just a Dodge Grand Caravan. It have a starting issue. I have all kinds of stuff apart. I had to build a fuel pressure adapter because the stupid fuel rail is plastic under there and it's aiming right towards the valve cover, so I needed a 90-degree end I didn't have anyway. So what's going on with this one is it just intermittently doesn't start, and the customer thought it was a fuel pump. Tried the key on, told him, before we even came in, just try turning the key on and off a couple times before you try to start it and see if it'll start. Maybe the pump's bleeding back and you're not cranking long enough, but I think it does have the tip start in it. Maybe not, I'm not sure. Either way, I didn't get it to act up like he did. I did get it to start and then stumble a little bit, and then then it ran fine after like a couple seconds of running. So decided to just investigate the fuel issue. So I instrumented the fuel pump, see if it was gonna bleed back, and it held all day. Right now it's been sitting all night, so I don't know if we're gonna experience it, but I believe I have a fuel pump control issue. I'm not gonna get real deep into diagnostics, but there is a fuse 25. I'll show you the wiring diagram later, but I just made a extension with a different 20 amp fuse so I could actually do a low current probe on the pump. And then I have my test light hooked up to the power end, because the power comes through the relay, then through the fuse to the fuel pump. So this is what all I'm instrumenting, and like I said, it's been sitting all night, so hoping I can get it to actually act up more. I can get it to glitch, hopefully I can catch that, but I want to see it not work. And what I think is happening, or I'm pretty sure, is the fuel pump relay is not energizing, or it is energizing, but maybe internally the circuit is corroded or something in the contacts. And actually called Chrysler because, like I said, this is a Grand Caravan in VW clothing. In fact, if I turn on the scanner when I wanted to see if there were any codes, and then I went into Volkswagen, it told me to go to the similar year of Grand Caravan. So vehicle history, I was on 2011 Routan, and then see if I can get it to see, please wait, 2011 Routan. Why is it not telling me? What? I didn't go into saved history. If I went to just 2011, couldn't do the automatic because it said the VIN wasn't there or whatever, so I hit manual. I went to Routan, and then it says okay, that's what I have, VIN. Please select the Chrysler Town and Country equivalent year and engine size. So anyway, so like I said, it's a Caravan or a Town and Country, but it has the 3.6 VVT engine in it, and evidently this is becoming to be a common problem, because the fuel pump relay is not an external relay you can pull out and change. It is built into the totally integrated power control module. So we called Dodge and bought this kit. And this kit is an external relay and some heat shrink, and I don't even know, I'll have to, there isn't even any instructions in it, so I'll have to figure that out. But it looks to me like this was, I think, $15. And they had 11 of them in stock, so that's the fix. Instead of changing the totally integrated power control module, just pull it off and cut the wires, because it's only one circuit, one wire going back to the fuel pump. So then I would have to get a power, which I'm thinking that big orange lug would probably just go right down here to my main battery lug, and then I would have to find the control side as well. So I'm going to get into that, but I'm hoping to see it act up. It's been sitting all night, so let's see what happens. Alright, so here's the fuel pump relay, and you can see it's hot at all times on the battery positive side, and then, you know, there's the fuel pump control from the computer, and then you have, when the relay clicks, it goes through that M25 fuse and then goes to the fuel pump module. So like the other Chryslers and stuff, the ASD relay doesn't power up the power leg of the fuel pump. It looks like it's all by itself. So that's that. Okay, so I'm instrumented here. I have my fuel gauge bottom left. The Vantage Pro is going to do my fuel pump current draw. You'll see the commutator humps. I think yesterday was drawing about 12 amps, so that was okay. But pay attention in the far upper right, my little beepy test light. I think the green light's lit right now. I'm showing a ground through the fuel pump. When I start it, sometimes it doesn't kick on right away, and well, before yesterday I actually had fuel pressure when I started testing this, so it would start up and then it would drop in fuel pressure for a second until that actually kicked on, and there's a delay in the relay. So I think that's what's going on. I don't know if I can catch it now, but that's what we're going to try. Okay, well, my fuel, you can see it did do its prime, and then I lost my fuel pressure gauge. So now I'm showing 45 pounds. So unfortunately it worked today, so we might have to do what I did yesterday. But we'll try starting it. Okay, see, I cranked it and it did not energize. Now it did after I turned the key off. There's my prime, key on, engine off. Crank it, and the fuel pressure drops, and the light stays off. You can see when it's running, I have, you know, between 10 to 12 amps and real nice sawtooth pattern. None of the windings or anything like that looks like I got any flat spots or shorts for the pump. I was just totally looking for the delay on my fuel pump relay, and that's what I'm trying to fix with this. So try it one more time. It should come on as soon as I'm cranking. It should be running. That time it worked. that might be all I get on the cold start. So key off, key on, key off. Yeah, see, there's a delay. Oops. That time, if I turn the key on, do the prime, it turns off, I go to crank. That time it took an extra second for that to kick on, so you can see what I'm dealing with, and evidently it's a common problem. So I am going to do this relay relocation fix from Chrysler, and I'll show that, and hopefully that'll just be that. Alright, so I moved a little bit of stuff out of the way, and I was running back and forth. I don't know if you could hear me, but what I'm chasing was the delay in that relay clicking. And the first time when it was cold, even though with the key on, engine off, it did energize and prime the fuel pump. When I went to go crank it, it lost the power. It didn't power it back up. It just never powered up the fuel pump, and then my pressure dropped and the car stalled. And then, you know, it was pretty much the delay that I was seeing mostly yesterday. You know, the ASD relay and all those, I checked to see if, make sure I didn't have a delay in that, like I had a something going on with the ignition switch where I was losing power. Well, actually the one side of the relay is hot at all times anyway, but on the control side. But the ASD relay never had that delay. As soon as I turned the key on, it would do the prime or the initial start up and then shut off, and then as soon as I cranked it, it would turn red and it would get power. So I never had that dropout on the ASD relay, only on the fuel pump relay. So with them having all those kits in stock, I'm pretty confident that's where I'm at. So that's where I'll start. Alright, so they didn't give me any bulletins. I didn't find, there's nothing in the pamphlet on how to put it in. So what I did is I printed out the body control module circuit, and there's 7 connectors, and here's number 1, C1, and anyway, I'm not going to bore you with all that, but there's 3 connectors on the leg at the bottom, and then there's 4 up top, 1 on the side. So I determined just by following consistent wires that on the bottom I have 1, 4, and 7. So 1 I need to get to here, because on number 1 you have your fuel pump control, and that's your brown wire on terminal number 40. That's connector 1. And then I need connector number 5, but that is on the next page. No, it's number 10. You have your fuel pump control output on number 10, dark blue orange. So that's connector 5, number 10. Here's the back of connector number 5, and right where my thumb is here is the dark blue orange. So I just jumped that with a T-pin to battery positive, and I made the fuel pump run and my gauge moved. So I know that's connector number 5. So with this kit, it's just a relay with your, 3 wires and the 1 power lug, and they're fusing it now on the main power lug. So, but if you look at the wiring diagram for the fuel pump relay, hot at all times, which I'm now going to just steal from this lug on the fuse box integrated module, but they share the same power. Goes into a circuit board for the fuel level signal, and then it goes over to the other side of the relay. So I don't know, they're gonna go through the trouble of building this, why they wouldn't just tap this pink wire in with that other pinkish wire, because they're both sharing the same power. But you know, I don't know what the relay pulls on the coil side, but the pump draws what we saw, about 12 amps, and it's only a 20 amp circuit. So you know, I'm tempted to just put it into that one back here after the fuse, so it's fused. But then I got a little bit picky and decided to see where it actually came from. And the power distribution circuit, you can see my, where was it? I lost it. I had it somewhere. Run, start, run, fuse. I'm losing it. Now I'm gonna sit here and mumble for a little bit. Let me find it. Oh, I quit too soon. So here's the fuel pump relay right here, the 86 terminal, which is going to be that. What are they calling it? 86. 86. The wiring diagrams are wrong, because it's okay, either way, it's the control side. So you have that wire going over in, this is all inside, like most likely circuit boards. So it comes out of the fuel pump relay and it goes over and back down to the other side of fuse M37. Well, that doesn't make sense at all, because it said it was hotted all the time. There's the run start relay. All through the circuit board. It's all in the circuit board. So it's coming off of fuse 37, which is a light green, and that's also in connector number 5, which I'm on. A light green pink, and that powers up the stop lamp switch, brake module, just those two there. So I could just pick this one and put my pink control wire onto that wire, because the other two I'm cutting out of the circuit altogether. They're not even going to be in the fuse box. That fuse isn't going to do anything. But this one I have to actually solder it in line, so I could attach it to that one and make sure it just gets the power that it really came from, and just do it that way. So I am going to cut this wire and take it out of there and attach it to my control wire, which I've determined I am going to use, or the actual fuel pump wire, this blue one, because that's the heaviest lug. So that's going to be my load side, and then these two, use my pink as my hot, and my brown is my computer control, which is on connector number 1 down there to the right. So that's what I'm going to do. So here's where we're at. Is that what you said? Alright, so I got the fuel pump heavy blue wire. That's the actual pump feed wire that's cut out of this connector. The one that's cut right here. And then the other wire you don't cut is terminal 38, this pink, yellow, or whatever it is. That's terminal 38, and I have that, my pink wire from the kit, soldered in there. I didn't cut it, I just soldered it. So I gotta seal that up, and then I can put that one back together, and then I gotta unplug that connector right there and get to the brown one, and then I can cut that wire totally out of it and solder to this brown one, and then that'll be it, besides the power lug. Last one is unplugged that terminal, connector 1, and it's this lonely little brown wire on terminal number 40. So I gotta cut that one out and do the same thing, kind of insulate the wire I cut, even though it's not attached to anything, and put my brown wire to that brown wire. Alright, so I'm pretty much out of time, but when you're done soldering all those in, the pigtail comes out of the side, distribution boxes snap back in, put your main battery lead on this terminal here. If I can stretch it far enough with one hand, and then your fused lead goes right on there. And then if you didn't lose the nut, you're good to go. So once that's tight, they give you a push pin and some zip ties to mount this thing. They said on the core support there's some holes. Just mount it in a good place and that should take care of it. So that's about it. I'm not gonna be able to do anything more with confirming it without pretty much tearing it back apart and checking. So should be good. Thanks for watching. Alright, so my pre-existing spot is on the inner fender well. So there's the fuel pump relay, and because this wire sticks out and my lid swings over, I had to field adjust that. See that? Field adjustment? So it'll slide. Well, I had to on a volkswagen Vanagon. So there. So that wire's now there. My fuse is right next to the fuse box, and the relay is there. And put the battery in and it should start right up, right?
Well, you gotta show this tester.
I did. I showed the spider web of stuff I made. Start it up. Let's see if I have instant fuel pressure, because Nick said you could prove it.
Done.
So if it starts up and stalls, that wasn't it, huh? Yeah. Oh, the fuel pump ran. Huh. See, the first time I did that, I started and the fuel pressure dropped all the way to like 0. Sweet. Alright. Well, we'll call it fixed. Thanks for watching. Say thanks for watching, Nick.
Should be to be continued.